Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. Thank you for joining us here today. Today we wanted to talk about wisdom and discernment, and what's the difference between the two? What can you do to help increase your wisdom? How do you learn wisdom? Is wisdom something you can learn? What's the difference between wisdom and inner wisdom? How can you recognize what is your inner wisdom? And what is wisdom to begin with? How does this correlate with discernment? What's the difference with that? There's a lot of things that we gain with knowledge throughout our lives. It starts when we're very young, and hopefully we continue to learn things throughout our entire lives. So we start experiencing things at a very early age. From birth to age 5, there's so much that children learn. I think it's until you're 21, the brain is still developing and it's still forming its pathways, it's still growing, it's still going through lots of changes and so many different aspects. And then when you're a wee one and you're going to school, you're learning lots of different types of wisdom too. You're learning what they're teaching you in the books. You're learning the wisdom of how to act as you watch other people. You're gaining all kinds of experiences that result in different types of wisdom to help you know what you want to do in life, how you want to act, what type of people you want to be around. So we gain a lot of experience and wisdom through school. And then we have so many other experiences as we're growing up, with jobs, with friends, with relationships, with loves lost and found, and so many different things with different experiences. But then we need to add in the question of discernment too. What is discernment? If we have all of these different things that are thrown at us, and sometimes there are so many different opinions of things as well that are thrown at us, sometimes as fact, maybe we need to draw in a little bit of discernment and figure out when you want to trust the wisdom that you're told and when you maybe want to reflect a little bit more inside as well. Discernment is when you question the wisdom and you question the knowledge, the thoughts, the facts that are coming in, and you know what is fact and what is opinion. There's another definition with discernment that flows into the religious criteria, but we're not going to get so much into that today, as we are just really questioning wisdom, knowledge, facts, thoughts. What's an opinion and what's really truth? What's maybe somebody else's experience? What's your experience? What are the facts? How can you discern what is what in this crazy world that we're in, where everybody seems to feel like everybody is right and everyone's opinion is the only way, it seems, especially in this country of ours? So then once you're starting to note what is fact and what is opinion, then you need to decide if it reflects your own opinion, because this is your life. Does it reflect you? Does it reflect what your moral compass is? Whatever the wisdom is, the experience, the knowledge, the facts, the opinions, the things that are flying at you in day-to-day life from everywhere, does it reflect, if you're bringing it in, what your moral compass is? Your knowledge, your experience, and your inner wisdom. I frequently get questions that really come down to just opinion. People want to know certain things. Tell me how this is or what that is. And it's really just an opinion. I can't say what is right for you specifically, because that needs to come through your own inner wisdom. That comes through looking at the facts, running it through your filter, gaining experience and listening to what other people have experienced, maybe their token of opinions that have been cultivated through their channels of inner wisdom and experience and wisdom from other sources. But one of the things most notably is in a cat class that I teach at All About Animals. I frequently get a lot of questions in there that really come down to opinion, and people want to know what is the right way. I want to do this in the way that's just best and perfect for the lives of these cats, and I'm not sure, because maybe they're hearing a lot of opinions from a lot of different sides. So I try to do my best to say what's an opinion and what my opinion is. One of the notable things that comes up often in the class is on testing with cats. When it's an outside cat, if you have cats at home, you've probably heard of the combo test, leukemia, FIV. Sometimes it'll have heartworm in that test too. And so it's an important thing if you're going to be bringing cats into your home to make sure they're tested, because you don't want to infect the other cats in your house. You want to know what the health is of the cats. But if you're doing TNR, which is what this class is, trap, neuter, return, where you get the cats fixed, released back outside to their habitat. So that's often a question. Well, funds are often tight if you're helping the cats outside. They're not your own animals, and these people are doing the best they can to make sure the kitten population isn't continuing to increase. Some people have very strong opinions. They feel like if you have a cat, you need to make sure you get that cat tested. Maybe it's more important to get all of the cats fixed. And I'll let them know this is an opinion, because if you have a low budget, if you're at least getting them fixed, then they're not continuing to mate. They're not continuing to fight as much because those hormones have gone down and they're a bit calmer. So they're not going to be spreading those diseases of the leukemia and the FIV. And so through my opinion, it would be better to just do spot testing, and just, where you can, you use those funds and you make sure everybody is fixed as the primary. But there are people that have very strong opinions the other way. But it's very important in cases like this, and this can correlate with many aspects of life, it still comes down to opinion, and it comes down to letting the person choose what they feel is right for them. And so there are a lot of things probably in your life. We see this a lot with raising children. People have very strong opinions. Children should be raised this way. Parents should do this. Parents should do that. But it really comes down to opinion. Who's to say what's really right? Same thing with religion. Oh my goodness, with religions. They say there is only one way, or there is only one this or that. But that comes down to faith and belief and what their experiences is, where their moral compass is, what they choose, what they feel within their heart. Sometimes that filters through what other people have thought. Sometimes they may not have thought about it running through all the aspects of their own filter in any of those situations. But it's important to take the facts that you hear from other people, to run them through your filter. Does this make sense to me? Does this resonate with me? Do the facts align in this? Does it make sense with what I believe morally, with what I feel, with my experience? Run through all of those, because often it's not a clear yes or no. It's not a clear right or wrong answer, despite opinions that would make you feel that way. Sometimes people are very good about saying, I have the wisdom and I will give you the answer. You've been bestowed with what you should do. And if you do it not that way, then there's going to be consequences. Well, that's often not really true, because that's what we're here for, is to have our own experiences, to live our life, to come up with the wisdom within yourself. It's great to pull in the facts from all these sources, but run it through your filter. Trust your own inner wisdom. Gather the facts. Kind of bringing it back to the TNR class again, just for another example. Sometimes, another opinion, there are some bird lovers that think that trap, neuter, return is bad because cats eat birds and it's this horrible cycle. And if you're paying attention to the cats and you're getting them fixed and you're helping them, then you're encouraging the fact that they might get some of the songbirds out there. But if you rein yourself back from the emotion of it, and you rein yourself back from maybe not being a cat person, but really loving the birds, and you start to look at the facts just objectively, and you go, okay, let me see how this works. And you pull up the numbers, and you see that in areas where the cat colonies have been fixed, maybe there's some other resources there on top of it. But even if there are no other resources, if all it is the cats were fixed and released back, there are a lot less birds that will be hurt potentially by the cats because they're not having kittens anymore. They're not scrambling and fighting over each other as much for resources, because it's stopping that ability to multiply. The colony numbers stabilize instead of growing and growing and then toppling. The colony numbers stabilize, and there are less cats coming up to take on the birds. And so in that instance, when somebody looks at those facts, they can see TNR saves birds as well as saving cats. Religion and animals seem to really have a lot of opinions thrown out at you as facts. But it's so important to decide what your parameters are as you're making your decisions here in life. What matters to you? Listen to the other side when you have an opinion, because if you box yourself in and you only talk to people who agree with you, then you're going to get that group thinking you might be missing something that might open you up to a point of view. You might not go to the other side, but you might open up in different ways. You might learn something from the other side. So what matters to you? Listen to the other side. News tends to be so opinionated, especially in this day and age. The last 20 years or so, the news cycle has taken a strong nosedive into opinion pieces instead of fact pieces. Instead of just stating what happened, it's why did this happen? Why do you feel this way? How did this make you feel? Instead of just saying this is what happened and we're moving on to the next so viewers can think themselves. Because it's so opinionated and polarized, you might need to listen to both sides to get the facts. I kind of personally feel like it's better for me not to listen to the news because it gets me upset. I don't like to see the darker side of humanity. I like to know about what's in my world, what I hear from other people, and kind of getting in a little bit of that world news. But if I do, I prefer to read it in a paper instead of listening to what has been so opinionated on the TV. But if you do, some people really they feel the need to listen to the news. So listen to both sides. If you're a nationwide news person, listen to CNN and Fox so you can get both sides. You might feel like you really agree and you like what they're saying on one of those channels and you really don't like what they're saying on the other channel. But it's good to listen, to hear what both sides have to say, to get those opinions, because there are people all over the country that feel both of those ways and a whole lot more that feel somewhere in the middle, in between what they're saying on those on the polarized news channels. But when you listen to both sides, you can start to really get more of the accurate facts. It's always so good to look at figures, to looking at numbers. I even start off my CAT class talking about numbers because that's where you can really see the progress that's been happening and know what's going on around you. But it's important to question everything by running it through your own database, your own knowledge, your experience, your opinions, your preferences, all of that. Figure out what your filters are within yourself to decide what is true to you. And looking at the facts to back up what is true in a statistical way. In this, when you're doing this, when you're running it through your own filter, you're using both discernment and you're tapping into your own inner wisdom that way. You're pulling in the wisdom, the knowledge out here. You're figuring out based on some of your experiences that have happened. You're trusting, you're looking within yourself for your true answers, your true moral compass, and then using discernment, not just believing everything that comes at you, but deciding what is truth, what you will resonate with, tapping into that inner wisdom through discernment. There are far too many sheep in this world that will just believe whatever the first thing is that they hear. How do you know if the thoughts that are coming to you are from your own inner wisdom? You might feel it in your body. That's often a really good way to know if it's truth. Resonate and figure out, see how your body feels when you're thinking of something that you know is a lie. Just go within, close your eyes, see how your body feels if you think of something that you know is a lie. And then clear that out, and then go within your body and close your eyes and see what it feels like if you know something is true. Maybe stating those things within yourself. You're going to feel a big difference in your body with both of those. Your body's wisdom is really an amazing piece of ability to help you with discernment. So you might feel it in your body, your gut, your heart. It varies for every person. Again, there's no right or wrong, yes or no direct answer for that. It's individual. So see if it feels true within your body's wisdom once you have the facts and when you're making your opinions. Inner wisdom is very powerful. It connects us into the entire universe. So know that what you feel is true for yourself might not be true for everybody else around you. And when you're talking to other people, use that within yourself too. Let them know when it's an opinion of yours instead of stating it as fact. Have some tolerance for people when they have a belief that's different from yours, and trust yourself. Lead yourself with that trust within your own inner wisdom, with that discernment within yourself. I hope this helps you to give you some things to think about today, and have a wonderful week.